Hello Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So Aries, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So with all that being said, Aries, let's get started. How does Aries currently view this relationship? All right, let's see what's going on. Okay, we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Queen of Pentacles to the Three of Wands. Yeah, this opportunity that's about to present itself to you, it's definitely going to catch you off guard. And it's mainly because love right now is not a main focus and or priority. It kind of looks like your main focus / priority has a lot to do with you, the life that you want to manifest and create for yourself, as well as your career and your business, okay, is basically what I'm getting. So when this opportunity does present itself to you, it does kind of look like it is going to catch you off guard. But at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Cups, we have the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Six of Pentacles, and then we also have the Hierophant. I mean, we do have a true pair situation going on here between you and this person that you're going to find yourself meeting. For the vast majority of you, you haven't met this person just yet, and this person hasn't met you just yet. For others of you, you could have already met this person, but you guys complement one another very, very well. I mean, you guys are showing up as a true pair, which is basically insinuating that you and this person are very, very compatible to one another. But I do kind of see you just randomly, you know what I mean, stumbling across this person, okay? You're not going to meet this person, you know, actively looking for love is kind of what I'm getting, nor do I feel like you are actively looking for love. I feel like you're just going to randomly meet this person, possibly out and about, running errands, you know, things of that nature. For some of you, you could be meeting this person online. That's a possibility. But if you do end up meeting this person online, I don't feel like you currently have that mentality of I'm looking for somebody to like settle down with, build towards a life with, get married to, because it's just not a main focus and or priority right now. But for the vast majority of you, you're just going to randomly run into this person just out and about doing your own thing. Is primarily what I'm getting and how you're going to end up meeting this person. But I do feel like when you guys do essentially meet one another, you guys are going to instantly hit it off with one another is kind of what I'm getting. And I kind of feel like from that point on, your relationship with this person will essentially grow and evolve. But we'll see how you actually respond and react to it, because I see this person being very open and receptive to the connection. It's that Seven of Wands energy that I keep feeling from you. I don't feel like you're going to be as open and receptive to this as they are, but it's mainly because, again, love is just not a main focus or priority for you right now. The only thing that you want to prioritize right now is the things that are already basically mentioned. Another thing too, Aries, is that I feel like throughout your involvement with this person, they're going to teach you how important it is to allow other things to actually coexist in your life. Because right now you're making your life all about your money, your growth, your expansion, your career, your business, if you have one, the life that you want to create for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's more to life than just your money. There's more to life than just your career. There's more to life than just, you know, your business if you have one, right? There's way more to life than just that. And I feel like your involvement with this person is going to actually help you to allow other things to actually coexist in your life, like, you know, this relationship that you could totally have with this person, you know, things like that. But let's look a little bit more into this human that you're going to find yourself meeting. You could very well be meeting an earth sign strongly, so a Taurus strongly though, possibly a Pisces, maybe even a Virgo or a Capricorn. Doesn't necessarily have to be the case though, but this person just might have that strongly within their chart. But how does this person currently view this relationship? Okay, my candle just dropped. Okay. All right. We have the Queen of Cups. We got the Ten of Swords. And then we also have the Queen of Swords. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Wands. We also have the Six of Swords. And then we also have the Page of Cups. I don't feel like this has anything to do with you. Like I said, for the vast majority of you, you haven't even met this person just yet. You haven't met this person just yet. This Queen of Swords / Queen of Cups feels like one person. It doesn't feel like two different people. It feels like one person in particular. I feel like there's somebody here in this person's energy field that has been trying to develop a serious relationship with them, but it kind of looks like they haven't necessarily been successful at establishing a serious relationship with this person. And I feel like I feel like very, very soon, this person that you're going to find yourself meeting is going to eventually cut this person off. And it's mainly because, and I'm just going to be very honest and transparent with you. I mean, your person is showing up as a King of Pentacles. This person is showing up as a Queen of Swords slash Queen of Cups, which I do believe this is one person, okay? These two are just not compatible in any way, shape, or form. They're not even showing up as a true pair. These two are like oil and water. They just simply don't mix. I also kind of feel like this person that they've been dealing with, they're very, very unpredictable. It's like one day they make it seem like they really do love this person and care for this person, and the next day they make it seem like they can honestly care less about this individual is kind of what I'm getting. But I feel like the only reason why they tend to fall into that energy of not really caring about this person or this relationship has a lot to do with the fact that they have not been able to establish or create the relationship they truly want with this person, which to me feels like a very serious relationship that they've been essentially aiming for with this King of Pentacles in particular. But I feel like this King of Pentacles just doesn't view them in that type of lighting. In other words, they don't view this individual as somebody that they can see themselves settling down with, building towards a life with. Obviously, when they meet you, it's going to be a whole nother experience. Than the experience they're having with this one over here. Like when this person meets you, you know, they're going to basically look at you as somebody that they can definitely see themselves settling down with, building towards a life with. But when it comes down to this individual in particular, they just don't, you know what I mean? They just don't really see themselves being with this individual because of how different they are and how, yeah, it has a lot to do with how different this person is from this individual that you're going to find yourself meeting. Like this is somebody who really wants to meet somebody that they're very compatible with, that they mesh very well with, that they have a lot of things in common with. With this individual in particular, because they're so different from this King of Pentacles, they find it hard to like, you know, resonate with them, and mesh well with them is basically what I'm getting. I do kind of feel though, like this King in particular has been slowly but surely trying to distance themselves from this queen over here. I also kind of feel like this king has told this queen on multiple different occasions that they don't want anything serious, that they don't want anything serious with them, but I feel like they just keep turning around pushing for more and more and more and more and more, because this king comes off to me as somebody who has been nothing but honest and transparent with this queen over here. I just kind of feel like this queen refuses to accept the fact that this king just doesn't see themselves having a future with them. You know, they're very hung up on what they want with this individual, with this king. I'm sorry, this queen is very hung up on what they want with this king is what I meant to say. My apologies. And even though this king is like, hey, listen, I don't want anything serious. Hey, listen, I just don't feel that way about you. Like it's going to go in through one ear and out the other. Is basically what I'm getting, but I feel like this relationship is about to come to an end very, very soon between these two, and I feel like you play a massive role in why this relationship between these two are about to come to an end, is about to come to an end. Jesus, like I freaking talked this morning. Tell me more about the Ten of Swords. Okay. We have the Justice card, we got the Four of Cups, and then we also have the Seven of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, you do have the Five of Pentacles, and then we also have the Seven of Pentacles, and then we have the Magician. This is just kind of reiterating what I just said about this situation, I guess, this king has going on with this queen over here. This queen has clearly been trying to manifest and create the life that they truly want and desire with this king, but this king has not been reciprocating that energy back in return, and it's mainly because they just don't want to build and establish a life with this person due to how different they actually are. Now, like I said, this relationship between these two, it's about to come to an end very, very soon. And when it does come to an end, I do kind of feel like it has a lot to do with them essentially meeting you and instantly hitting it off with you and wanting to essentially pursue you and make you know what I mean, their main focus / priority. But when this relationship does come to an end between these two, with the Justice card to the Four of Cups to the Seven of Swords, I do kind of see this queen, you know, falling into this energy of essentially feeling like they wasted their time with this king and how unfair this is. But I'm sorry, I feel like this king was nothing but honest and transparent with this queen. I feel like they just refuse to accept the words that came out of this king's mouth. The moment this king said, hey, listen, I don't want anything serious, they should have accepted that. But instead, what they did was let it go in through one ear and out the other, because they're not trying to hear all of that. What they're trying to hear is, you want to be with me and we're going to build this life together. Like, that's what they want to essentially hear, but they weren't necessarily hearing that from this king. So I understand that they view this entire situation as something that's extremely unfair, and they just sat up here and wasted their time, and this is just fucked up. I understand all of that, but they kind of put themselves in this predicament, to be completely honest, because I do feel like this king was honest and transparent with them from the moment this entire situation started. So they blatantly chose to invest time and energy towards somebody who wasn't trying to reciprocate that back, and made it clear that they had no intentions of reciprocating that back. So whose fault is it really? You know what I mean? Okay, let's keep going. Why is this relationship going to come to an end between these two? Okay. We have the Ten of Swords. We got the Nine of Wands. We also have the Three of Swords with the Five of Pentacles to the Wheel of Fortune. And then we also have the Chariot. The main reason why this relationship between these two is going to essentially come to an end finally is because something better is coming along. I do want to look at the Wheel of Fortune, but whatever this thing is that's better, according to this king that's coming along, is something that they had every intentions of pursuing, okay? I just kind of feel like when it comes down to like their relationship with this queen, I feel like this king has known for a while that they are not trying to build or establish absolutely anything with this person. I also kind of feel like the main reason why these two were involved for as long as they were involved with one another is because this queen is very big on guilt tripping people. They're very big on guilt tripping people. So every time, this king would pull away, or every time this king would tell them, yo, like, I don't want anything serious, I'm not looking for anything serious, like, this queen will come along and try to guilt trip them into continuing to invest time and energy towards them in this relationship that these two had with one another. So I kind of feel like they continued to deal with them, but it was stemming from a place of, well, I feel bad. I feel bad. I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to disappoint this person. So let me just continue to deal with them. Even though I don't see myself having a future with this person, let me just continue to deal with them because I feel bad. I don't want to hurt them. I don't feel like this king had any sort of intentions of hurting them, to be completely honest, or disappointing them. I think that this king thought that if they were to just be honest and transparent with them, that they could avoid hurting this person and disappointing this person. But it kind of looks like their honesty has caused them to end up feeling this way either which way, as far as like feeling bad in the end is concerned, and feeling like they just hurt this person. And it really wasn't their intentions, but they really thought that by being honest and transparent with this queen, it would avoid would avoid this queen for falling for them even more, and wanting something far more than what they were willing to basically give them. But it kind of looks like that kind of backfired in their face, is basically what I'm getting, because their honesty didn't really get them the outcome that they wanted. The outcome that they wanted was for this queen to not fall for them. The outcome that they wanted was to, continue to have whatever type of relationship that they had, whether it's had, been just simply like a friendship or like a friends with benefits sort of situation, like with them, without there being any strings attached. But it kind of looks like this queen wasn't trying to have all of that with them, is basically what I'm getting. Tell me more about the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. We got the Knight of Pentacles, we got the High Priestess, we also have the Three of Wands, and then we got the Seven of Wands, and then we also have the Seven of Swords. There's an overall energy of this king essentially feeling like not only do they have to distance themselves from this queen, but they also feel like they have to go as far as to like block them, because I'm also kind of getting that. So they're more than likely going to block them on absolutely everything. They might even go as far as to change their number. But I do see them either, I feel like it's a combo of both. I feel like they're going to distance themselves from this queen, but also go as far as to block this queen. And I feel like there's a reason why they're basically doing all of this all of a sudden and out of the blue. And it's mainly because there's something better that's coming along here. And they don't want anything or anyone to come in between whatever this thing is that's better in their eyes that's coming along. And I do kind of feel like it has a lot to do with you. But I do feel like they're going to keep their involvement with you a big old secret. And it's mainly because they look at this queen as somebody who may even go as far as to try to like self-sabotage what they have going on with you is basically what I'm getting. All right, let's see what else comes out. We have the Hermit, we also have the World, and then we also have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, I feel like the way this king is going about this entire situation is going to really drive this queen insane because it looks like they're just coming in randomly ending things here with them out of nowhere. I feel like not only are they randomly ending things here with them out of nowhere, they're not telling them why. Like, why are you doing this? They're just doing it. They're just blocking them. They're just distancing themselves from them. And I feel like it's going to create a lot of confusion for this queen. It's going to create a lot of confusion for this queen that this king is just coming in randomly ending things here with them and just kind of distancing themselves without explaining to this queen why. But that's the thing, right? Is that, and I'm going to be very honest, I feel like this king kind of knows it's pointless to sit there and explain to this queen why they're choosing to distance themselves from them, why they're choosing to block them, why they're choosing to not continue to deal with them, because it is going to go on through one ear and out the other. I feel like they've had that experience with this queen, so they might view having a conversation with this queen and explaining to this queen why they're doing what they're doing as something that's completely and utterly pointless, because if it's just going to go in through one ear out the other, and they're just going to turn around and continue to push for what they want here with them, despite them not wanting a relationship with them, despite them not even seeing a future with them, they're kind of looking at the situation like, well, what is the point? Talking more about the Chariot. Okay. So let's see what this person's trying to go off and pursue now that they view to be something that's 10 times better. So we have the Six of Pentacles, we got the Four of Wands, and then we have the Star. Remember, your person had the King of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles attached to them. This thing that's 10 times better is basically you, and the connection that they're going to find themselves developing with you is basically what I'm getting. This person basically looks at you as somebody who could very well be the one, is basically what I'm getting. But I feel like they're trying their hardest to not get too far away, not too far ahead of themselves when it comes down to you. But they're definitely getting like a really good vibe off of you and the connection that they share with you. All right, how does this person currently feel? How does this person currently feel? We have the Seven of Swords, we have the Tower, and then we also have the Ten of Pentacles out here. This feels like the Two of Swords, which we do actually have the Two of Swords over here, but this feels like a Two of Swords like energy. With the Seven of Swords to the Tower coming out here, there's an overall energy of them trying to avoid something or someone, and it's mainly because they believe that whatever this thing is that they're trying to essentially avoid has like the power to self-sabotage a really good thing that they have going for themselves, which I do feel like it has a lot to do with their relationship with you. Tell me more about the Seven of Swords to the Tower. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups, we got the Nine of Swords, and then we also have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, I feel like this is the Queen's energy. Yeah, I feel like this is the Queen's energy. Jeez, okay. It just kind of looks like things are not necessarily playing out the way this Queen thought it would between this king and them. It just kind of looks like they're not getting this happily ever after with this king, like they were honestly hoping for. And I kind of feel like And I kind of feel like they're really upset because of it, to be completely honest. I feel like they're really upset. Yeah, I feel like they're really upset with this king because things didn't necessarily play out the way that they wanted it to play out between these two. But I see this king really trying their hardest to just avoid them and not engage in any ounce of conversation with them. Tell me more about the Tower to the Seven of Swords. Like I said, I feel like this king feels bad because I keep getting that. Like, I feel like this king really does feel bad to have to like walk away from them and not engage in conversation with them. But there's an energy of them essentially feeling like they have no choice but to go about this entire situation in this manner, as far as like ghosting them and just blocking them on absolutely everything. Because again, it's like they feel like having a conversation with this queen is absolutely pointless because they kind of feel like if they were to sit down and like have a conversation with them and explain to them like, hey, listen, like this is just not working out. Like I just don't see myself being with you or whatever the case may be. Like this queen's just going to continue to turn around and continue to push for what they want here with this king, no matter what comes out of this king's mouth. So that's kind of why they feel like they have to kind of go about this entire situation in this manner. But I do see them definitely ignoring them, definitely not, responding to like their text messages, returning their phone calls and or emails. And it's mainly because they kind of feel like it's pointless having a conversation with them at this point. And on top of that, they're not trying to do anything that could potentially self-sabotage, what they're trying to create with you is basically what I'm getting. Also, too, it doesn't look like you're consciously aware of what's even going on here on this person's behalf, which is kind of making me feel like this person's not really telling you anything. How does Aries currently feel? So we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Two of Swords, and then we also have the Ace of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Queen of Swords, and then we also have the King of Cups to the Knight of Swords, and then we also have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. It kind of looks, I hate to say it, Aries, but it kind of looks like this queen over here is going to become a real issue, right? To the point where they're going to find themselves essentially feeling like they can't continue to kind of keep this entire situation a secret from you anymore. Because I do see you becoming aware of what's going on here between these two and how this king doesn't want anything to do with them, but this queen just refuses to kind of leave them alone. I do see this king of yours like telling you like what's basically going on here between them and this queen, and how this queen basically refuses to leave them alone. Is basically what I'm getting, especially because this queen is showing up on your end. Yeah, that's kind of telling me that very soon you're going to find out. You're definitely going to find out that this person clearly has someone that continues to push for what they honestly want with them, even though this king clearly doesn't want that with them in return. But they just kind of refuse to, yeah, kind of like this queen just refuses to accept how this king feels. And because they refuse to accept how this king feels, they keep pushing, for something to happen here between them and this king. And it's getting so bad to the point where they kind of feel like they can't keep this a secret from you anymore. They feel like they're going to have to, tell you, even though they don't necessarily want to tell you, is basically what I'm getting. Tell me more about the Two of Swords. Okay. We have the Empress, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and then we also have the Four of Cups. Here's one thing that I will say when you do become aware of all of this. I don't think that you're going to like it, to be completely honest, because the last thing you want is to deal with freaking drama. The last thing you want is to deal with another man or another woman, trying to press you and get on your case, you know what I mean, about absolutely anything, which, to be completely honest, I don't blame you. You come off to me as somebody who really likes to live a life of peace. And with that being said, I understand that this is like the last thing that you're going to want to honestly deal with or even put up with. I do kind of feel like it might cause you to really question, whether or not this is something that you should continue to invest time and energy towards, because again, it's like you're really big on living a life of peace. So with that being said, the fact that this person is kind of bringing some drama to your doorstep, you're not going to be a huge fan of it whatsoever. And like I said, you just don't want to have to deal with another man or another woman, trying to start problems with you because, you and this person are like, dealing with one another. You don't want to deal with all that crap. And to be honest, I don't freaking blame you. I do not blame you. So you might find yourself questioning whether or not this is somebody that you should honestly continue to pursue or not. We'll see what you decide to do in the end. I don't see you making any sort of impulsive decisions or anything like that. In other words, when this all does go down, if it hasn't gone down just yet, I see you thinking about it, thinking about whether or not this is somebody that you want to continue to invest time and energy towards or not. I just kind of feel like the main reason why this king is going to you is because they don't know what else to honestly do. Like, they've been trying to do everything that they can on their end to just get rid of this queen, and make this queen a thing of the past, but because they fail to respect how they feel and stuff like that, they just kind of feel, you know what I mean? Like, they have no choice but to kind of come to you in hopes that, maybe, just maybe, you can kind of help them out when it comes down to like figuring out a way to get rid of this queen. If not, it could just be telling you so that way you're aware, like, hey, listen, like, I just want you to know I used to date this girl before I met you, and she's kind of crazy. She just refuses to leave me alone. Or this dude, because again, even though they're showing up as a queen, this could totally represent a dude. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us, but, they might just be telling you so that way, like, what's up and what's going on, so that way you don't think that they're over here entertaining, like, you and somebody else at the same exact time. You know what I mean? Okay. What actions will this person take? Okay, we have the Four of Pentacles, we got the Nine of Cups, and then we also have the Chariot to the Two of Pentacles. I feel like when this person does confess to you that this is kind of going on here without you obviously being aware, they're going to find themselves feeling a lot better. This person comes off to me as somebody who doesn't like to keep secrets from absolutely anyone, which is a really good thing, to be honest. But the fact that they don't like to keep secrets from absolutely anyone, especially somebody that they're in a relationship with, I think that that's a really, really good, I think that's a really good thing. But I feel like once they kind of tell you, Aries, like, what's going on with this one over here that refuses to kind of leave them alone, they're going to find themselves feeling a lot better. With the Two of Pentacles to the Chariot, I also kind of feel like this person's going to find themselves like, reassuring you that, hey, like, I don't want to be with this chick over here. I don't want to be with this dude. Like, they just refuse to honestly leave me alone. They don't respect how I feel. Like, I've tried to block them. I've tried to ignore them. I tried to change my number, but they still show up at my house. They still show up at my job. Like, I don't know what to do with them. You know what I mean? Like, but I do feel like they're going to definitely reassure you that, hey, listen, like, I just want to focus on you. I just want a relationship with you. I don't want anything to do with this one over here. Just so that way you don't think anything. Like, you don't think that, they're trying to entertain you and this person at the same exact time. With the King of Swords to Two of Swords coming out here, that's something that I really want to look into a little bit more. Tell me more about the King of Swords and the Two of Swords. We have the Star, we got the Nine of Pentacles, and then we also have the Death card out here. It's like this person is trying to figure out a way to get rid of this queen for once and for all. They just don't know what approach they should honestly take to get rid of this queen for once and for all. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like currently at the moment, this queen is under the impression that this person's single. I feel like this queen and this king met one another before you guys did, is kind of what I'm getting. But yeah, I do feel like obviously when this king met this queen, they were obviously single, but I feel like that's the impression that they still have, is that this king is basically single, is kind of what I'm getting. So they're kind of contemplating, like, should I tell this queen that I'm dealing with Aries now, or should I not? Because their biggest thing is that they're just afraid of what could potentially happen if they were to tell them, like, yo, listen, like, the reason why I'm not trying to be with you or anything like that is because I'm with Aries now. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know how this person's going to respond and react to that. You know, they don't know if they're going to go as far as to, like, you know, figure out who you are and get into contact with you and say a bunch of things to you. You know, like, they don't know how all of this is going to play out if they were to be honest with them and just tell them straight up, like, listen, okay, I'm with Aries now. Okay, can you please leave me the hell alone? Like, because they don't know with the moon to the Eight of Swords how all of this is going to play out if they were to be honest and truthful with them when it comes onto their relationship with you. That's what's currently preventing them from, like, telling them straight up, like, hey, listen, I'm kind of dealing with Aries now. I'm kind of seeing Aries now, you know? But yeah, I feel like currently at the moment, this queen's under the impression that this king is single, even though, I mean, they could very well be single. Maybe you guys haven't made things official just yet. That's a possibility. But I just feel like they just don't even know if they should even tell this queen that they're currently dating someone new or even talking to someone new, because they don't know, you know what I mean? Like, how this queen is going to freaking respond and react to them. And the truth, to be honest. What actions will Aries take towards this person and moving forward? We have the Six of Swords, we got the Four of Swords, and then we also have the Empress. Okay. Man. With the Six of Swords coming out here, yeah. With the Six of Swords to the Four of Swords coming out here, I kind of see you, Aries, in the near future distancing yourself from this person. Like, I don't see you cutting them off or anything like that, but I do see you, like, distancing yourself from this person. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that, let's just be real, you don't want to deal with drama. Like I said, you literally live a life of peace and you want to keep it that way. You really do want to keep it that way. You don't want to compromise your good life here for absolutely anyone. But yeah, I don't see you cutting them off, but I do see you kind of like distancing yourself for sure from this person. By the way, you guys are very compatible to one another. You are showing up as an Empress, and they are actually showing up as an Emperor. The person that sits in the Chariot is the Emperor, for those of you who do not know that. But telling more about the Empress. I don't blame you, honey. I don't blame you. Like, your whole thing is that you feel like if you were to continue to involve yourself with this person, it's just going to bring nothing but drama and chaos and toxicity into your life, which is the very thing you want nothing to freaking do with. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, I feel like you and this person are very compatible, and that's something that you're going to, like, realize, right? How compatible you guys actually are and how well you guys mesh with one another. But as far as, like, dealing with all this extra drama and stuff like that, you ain't trying to deal with that. You're not trying to deal with that whatsoever. Like, you really do like this person. You really do. But not enough to compromise your peace. You know what I mean? Like, you really like them, but just not enough to compromise your peace. You don't want to deal with drama or chaos or anything like that. But that's the thing, right? You kind of feel like if you were to continue to pursue this person, this relationship, your peace could very well get compromised in the process of it all, right? Because they got this one over here in their life that refuses to basically leave them alone, you know? I really want to know what's going to end up happening, though, between you and this person. What's going to end up happening between Aries and this person? Okay, let's see. We have the Seven of Pentacles. This person feels like they're losing you. Yeah, they feel like they're losing you. They feel like they're losing you. Yeah, this person feels like they're losing you. Yeah. See, yeah, this person kind of feels like they're losing you. You know, this to me kind of feels like them experiencing a complete 180 coming from you. It's like you go from investing all that you have to give to investing just a little bit of yourself to this, person, and to this connection that you share with them, which is causing them to kind of feel like they're kind of losing you, which is also kind of causing them to essentially feel like they have to give it all that they got when it comes down to you, in hopes that, it won't cause you, right, to like officially leave them and want absolutely nothing to do with them. But yeah, they do kind of feel like in a way they are basically losing you. And it's mainly because they're going to notice the drastic shift within your energy. And once they notice the drastic shift within your energy, and once they notice that you're distancing yourself from them, that's when they're going to like freak out and like come in and try to butter you up and call you a biscuit and kind of give it their all when it comes down to you, in hopes that it'll inspire you to stay, in hopes that it'll inspire you to continue to invest time and energy towards them. So I don't know about the Fool. We have the Four of Wands. We also have the Nine of Pentacles to the Judgment card. Yeah, I just kind of feel like this entire situation is kind of turning you off, to be completely honest, because again, you don't want to deal with freaking drama. You know what I mean? You just don't want to deal with all of that. And I don't blame you, but this is kind of like the epitome, right, of you kind of going from living your single life, focusing on you, your career, your business, if you have one, to then making room, right, for this person, this relationship to grow and evolve into something, right? And then boom, you're kind of hit with all of this out of nowhere, and it's causing you to kind of feel like you're compromising your peace, right? If you were to continue to pursue them, due to the fact that they got a crazy one attached to them that refuses to basically let them go. And that in itself is causing you to kind of want to resort right back to how you were originally living life, right? Just focusing on you, your business, your career, your money, things of that nature. And that's exactly what I see you doing, but that's exactly what this person also sees you doing. And like I said, it's going to cause them to kind of feel like they're basically losing you. Tell me more about the Knight of Wands. We have the Five of Cups, we got the Knight of Swords, and then we also have the Eight of Cups. I am getting a lot of regret coming from this person, even though by them getting, what it is off of their chest to you, I kind of see them starting to instantly regret that. And it's mainly because they're going to start to notice how distant you're going to start to become. Yep. And the moment that they start to notice you becoming distant, is the moment that they're going to find themselves experiencing a lot of regret when it comes down to communicating whatever it is that they communicated to you. Okay. Like I said, I don't see you cutting them completely out of your life. I just kind of see you distancing yourself from them, and I feel like the only reason why you're not cutting them out of your life is because despite all this drama that comes with this person, this is someone that you still instantly hit it off with. This is somebody that you still found yourself meshing very, very well with. And you don't want to toss that away completely, but at the same exact time, you don't want to deal with the drama. So it just kind of looks like you're distancing yourself for now to like better figure out what you actually want to do with this person and how you actually want to go about this entire situation. Because right now you're still unclear on how you should even go about this entire situation. Again, I don't feel like you started making room for them, this relationship between the two of you to grow, to be bombarded with all this shit either. You know what I mean? That's not something that you kind of signed yourself up for. And that's kind of what I'm getting, is that you didn't sign yourself up to deal with drama and, a crazy woman or a crazy man that refuses to leave this one over here alone. You know what I mean? To the point where they'll go as far as to create drama in your life. You know what I mean? Like this queen anyways. Because that's the thing, is that I don't feel like you know this queen whatsoever to know. You know what I mean? Like what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. You don't know if this queen is, crazy to the point where they'll show up at your damn job or your damn house harassing the hell out of you just because you're talking to this king. Like, you don't know what this queen is about or what this queen is even capable of, but it doesn't let you trying to find out either. And to be honest, I don't blame you, because you just don't want to compromise like your peace. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you like them, you instantly hit it off with them, you just don't want to deal with the drama. And until you figure out how you want to approach this entire situation, you're just going to continue to keep your distance here from them. But I do kind of see them in like full-blown panic mode is kind of what I'm getting. They're kind of panicking and freaking out because you're distancing yourself from them, and they know why you're doing it, and it's because of whatever it is that they communicate Okay, we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Queen of Pentacles to the Three of Wands. Yeah, this opportunity that's about to present itself to you, it's definitely going to catch you off guard. And it's mainly because love right now is not a main focus and or priority. It kind of looks like your main focus slash priority has a lot to do with you, the life that you want to manifest and create for yourself, as well as your career and your business, okay, is basically what I'm getting. So when this opportunity does present itself to you, it does kind of look like it is going to catch you off guard. But at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Cups, we have the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Six of Pentacles, and then we also have the Hierophant. I mean, we do have a true pair situation going on here between you and this person that you're going to find yourself meeting. For the vast majority of you, you haven't met this person just yet, and this person hasn't met you just yet. For others of you, you could have already met this person, but you guys complement one another very, very well. I mean, you guys are showing up as a true pair, which is basically insinuating that you and this person are very, very compatible to one another. But I do kind of see you just randomly, you know what I mean, stumbling across this person, okay? You're not going to meet this person, you know, actively looking for love is kind of what I'm getting, nor do I feel like you are actively looking for love. I feel like you're just going to randomly meet this person, possibly out and about, running errands, you know, things of that nature. For some of you, you could be meeting this person online. That's a possibility. But if you do end up meeting this person online, I don't feel like you currently have that mentality of I'm looking for somebody to like settle down with, build towards a life with, get married to, because it's just not a main focus and or priority right now. But for the vast majority of you, you're just going to randomly run into this person just out and about doing your own thing. Is primarily what I'm getting and how you're going to end up meeting this person. But I do feel like when you guys do essentially meet one another, you guys are going to instantly hit it off with